Behold a species that spent centuries erecting multi-ton monuments of pure vanity that immediately tried to delete their creators, where a brand new suspension bridge lost a violent physical argument with a light breeze. Boston weaponized breakfast syrup, and Pittsburgh engineered a fireproof oven for high society shoppers, and if that's not absurd enough, London stored enough porter-beer to qualify as heavy artillery. Welcome to History Gone Weird TV, Disaster Edition. It is actually a staggering display of overconfidence and chaos operating entirely without qualified oversight. Let's look at the absolute peak of modern structural design, which immediately fell apart because engineers forgot that wind exists in the physical universe. The coordinates lock on 1940, Tacoma, Washington. A brand new suspension bridge stood as a smooth, sleek, and flexible masterpiece of early 20th century engineering confidence until a perfectly steady wind hit the bay and the entire roadway deck began to sway up, down, and twist violently. As the oscillation built, the steel girders bent and the concrete warped until the entire multi-ton structure literally tore itself to pieces and collapsed directly into the water. Losing a major transportation network to a completely normal breeze is a spectacular display of professional overconfidence. Hopefully, the engineers enjoyed the view before their elegant monument plunged directly into the bay. Naturally, humanity witnessed a premier public infrastructure project collapse from basic weather and proceeded to learn absolutely nothing. Instead, Boston looked at industrial storage safety and decided the best move was filling a giant steel tank with liquid pancakes. Flip the calendar back to 1919. Boston. A massive, poorly reinforced steel tank held over 2 million gallons of thick, dark, and heavy molasses, ignoring years of audible cracking noises and obvious structural leaks that were completely dismissed by the owners. To handle the public complaints, the company simply painted the entire tank brown to hide the splitting seams. Right before the steel plates violently ruptured and unleashed a 35-mile-per-hour wall of syrup that instantly crushed buildings and trapped residents in a sticky matrix. It turns out a moving wall of high-velocity sugar sounds relatively hilarious until the syrup is running faster than your top sprint speed. I hope the saved maintenance costs were worth turning your local neighborhood into a literal human fly trap. At this point, civilization should have introduced professional oversight, but instead, Pittsburgh engineered a building so fireproof it accidentally became a luxury commercial crematorium. Rewind the tape to 1897, the Horn Building in Pittsburgh. It was a masterpiece of iron, steel, and fireproof tile, constructed with so much structural overconfidence that the owners didn't even bother installing a high-volume internal sprinkler system. When a small fire broke out next door, the insulated walls acted like a massive heat sink, trapping the energy inside until the interior steel beams glowed like branding irons and completely vaporized $500,000 worth of luxury merchandise. When the smoke cleared, the structure stood perfectly intact as a flawless monument to scorched high society luxury. After all, a commercial kitchen oven is technically fireproof, too. And if baking a high-end department store inside its own walls didn't prompt structural seatbelts, London decided to store industrial quantities of alcohol like volatile military ammunition. Journey back to 1814 London. A massive 22-foot wooden vat at the Moe and Company Brewery held over 300,000 gallons of dark porter beer until the iron hoops suddenly snapped under intense pressure and the entire tank exploded. The blast triggered a catastrophic chain reaction that ruptured every neighboring vat, sending a 15-foot wave of dark beer tearing through the streets, destroying brick homes, and drowning 8 residents in a municipal flood of alcohol. While the incident tragically claimed 8 lives, the brewery successfully escaped all financial liability when the court ruled the disaster an act of God. Storing 300,000 gallons of fermenting stout in a giant wooden barrel was indeed a flawless plan with absolutely no notes. A suspension bridge destroyed by light air, a coastal city attacked by breakfast syrup, a fireproof department store that cooked its own contents into powder, and an urban brewery that achieved structural artillery status. Looking back, industrial civilization spent a shocking amount of time confusing high confidence with actual engineering calculations, leaving humanity to understand the physical consequences emotionally later. As always, physics remained deeply unimpressed.